What is up, guys? Rick Kakis here. Thank you so much for stopping by, and today we have the guide for the newly released Heroic Version of Menagerie, going over a ton of tips, recommendations, and more to help you guys beat this new event and reap in the rewards. And let's start off this video by talking about what exactly are those rewards. I'm sure a lot of you guys are interested if it's worth doing the Heroic Version of Menagerie, because it is quite a bit harder. So, what can you get from it? Well, one of the things we did confirm right off the bat was that the Masterwork version of the Menagerie loot is dropping, with a twist. You don't actually get purely the curated bungee roll all the time. In fact, one of the rewards I got was a Masterworked shotgun, the Imperial Decree. But one of my teammates also got the Masterworked Imperial Decree. Same weapon, also came fully Masterworked, and actually had different perks. So there's either multiple curated rolls, or you still get random perks, but it just has another random chance to spawn fully Masterworked. Either way, that's pretty exciting that the Masterwork versions are dropping. These are already extremely good weapons. Getting them fully Masterworked off the bat is a huge advantage. Now, something else you can get is the Izanagi's Burden Exotic Catalyst. So, how do you get that? Well, you have to have a fully upgraded chalice. I actually opened the chest at the end and didn't have a fully upgraded chalice and didn't get it. But luckily I got the 500 Imperials, the last ones I need, fully upgraded my chalice. As you can see, opened the chest again, boom, guaranteed Izanagi's Burden Catalyst. So, fully upgraded chalice, open the chest, you will, it seems like, get it guaranteed. And it looks pretty good. It increases the damage of that special highly damaging round. And if it's a significant amount, it could be a significant improvement to that weapon. And one more thing unique to Heroic that's dropping is the swords for Menagerie. There's actually a different version for each of the different classes, and you get it just right in your inventory. You have a chance to as soon as you kill the boss. So as soon as that boss goes down, you have a chance to just outright get the sword. Alright, so that's what's dropping in Heroic Menagerie. Now, how do you beat it? Well, there's a couple important things right off the bat. Firstly, we have the modifiers, and they're pretty much all negative. This week, it's Extinguish, which is always going to be there. If your entire fire team wipes, you will be sent to orbit. And there's Iron, and there's also Blackout. Now, Iron and Blackout may change from week to week, and also remember, these are weekly modifiers. They will not change from day to day. They will change when there's a new boss from week to week. Also, there's no beneficial modifiers like Heavyweight or anything like that, but there is still a Singe, and this week it is Void Singe. Something else is that you're going to want to be 750 light going in, the max light. Why? Well, enemies scale up all the way to 770 during Heroic Menagerie, so you will be extremely underleveled if you try to go in like 740, 730. So the higher light you are, that's really going to matter. But there's one more really interesting thing that you should know before starting it, and that is the activities and the rotation of those activities are actually set and will likely rotate week to week. Now, what I mean is this. When we went in there, of course, it was the lamp lighting encounter, and then it was Gauntlet. After Gauntlet, it was Crystals. We did it again. Gauntlet. Crystals. We did it again. Gauntlet. Crystals. So it seems like you always get the same encounters in the same order. And that's actually pretty important because that's going to influence the choice of your loadout quite a bit. For example, Crystals, you know you're going to get it this week 100% of the time, and you know it's full of Vex. And you know that means there's tons of Minotaurs with tons of Void Shields. So one person running, let's say, Sentinel Titan with the Doomfang Pauldrons to take care of those Minotaurs way easier. That's a really good idea, and that's something that if you are having trouble with Heroic Menagerie, you should be tailoring your loadouts to help beat the encounters that you know you're going to get right off the start. Oh, and by the way, for Gauntlet, huge tip, just before you go over the finish line, shoot a bunch of grenade launcher rounds and it counts as people for whatever reason, so you get up to max score immediately, so throwing it out there. So, as for overall loadout recommendations, firstly in terms of class and subclass diversity, I think it's extremely important to have multiple wells of radiance, because there's going to be damage phases all the time. Like, every single encounter has some sort of boss fight pretty much, so you need to come prepared. So wells are not only going to help you increase your damage output significantly against those bosses, but it's going to help with your survivability as well, which you really do need because you're so underleveled. So at least 2 well warlocks, probably 3 would be a bit better. But that being said, we actually made the error the first time we went in of having too many Well of Radiance warlocks. We weren't able to have enough ad clearing potential. So that's another very important thing. You are going to need some people of your group dedicated to ad clearing. And I mean dedicated. So some Hammer Titans, for example, again, a Doomfang Sentinel. Even if you have lots of warlocks, some of them switch off of well and go on to something like even Cataclysm Nova Bomb, stuff like that. You need to be able to take care of the ads, especially when it is a modifier like this week where Blackout. You're focusing on boss DPS, everything's going well, then suddenly a Minotaur comes from behind you and starts destroying your team with Blackout active. So even during damage phases, one person activating their Hammer Titan, for example, turning around and dealing with the ads while the rest DPS may actually be the best approach, and it will make it much more likely for your team to avoid Extinguish. Because it's actually not that difficult to get enough points within 6 different activities to go to the boss. The main thing that is going to cause problems is Extinguish, so you want to avoid that at all costs. Alright, so now for weapon recommendations. Again, you have a lot of boss DPS phases, so Swarm of the Raven is the DPS king right now. If you got one of those from Iron Banner, and it has the Spike Grenades perk, get one person on your entire 6-man fire team to run a tractor cannon, and it is kind of likely that they're going to die, but if they can just get a couple of boops in and then you go ham with the Swarm of Ravens, you will melt bosses even when you are severely underleveled. Now, some substitutes for the Swarm include the Mountaintop, also other 150 rounds per minute heavy grenade launchers with spike grenades. So the Opulence, I forget exactly what it's called, but the Fortune, the Vanguard grenade launcher, if you can get that with spike grenades, that's going to do a lot of damage. The Swarm is void though, so it works so well with a tractor cannon, but I digress. Other good options include even something like rockets with cluster bomb can be decent. If you can run one of those high DPS legendary grenade launchers, the Wendigo is another one, great choice there. Then you can afford to run something like the Outbreak Perfected as an exotic, which if you do run out of ammo, it's going to be able to suffice and still deal a decent amount of damage, and it's going to be good with ads. You will need something to clear out the ads. So, I was running the Loaded Question, Vanguard Pinnacle, a fusion rifle, and if you get one kill with that, it's going to make enemies nearby explode. If you don't run the Outbreak, run something, that can deal with ads very quickly, that can kill multiple ads at the same time. Like running a sniper, I wouldn't really recommend. Okay, so moving on from loadouts, the last thing I want to talk about is some of the tactics that you can use in the different encounters to drastically increase your chances of success. So, some of the stuff that you were doing in normal Menagerie will not work anymore because you are so underleveled. For example, in Gauntlet, you actually don't want to put that, well, usually people put it up on that ridge. Well, you're just going to be sniped by the hobgoblins and the boss. So you actually want to go down and to the left of that ridge, as you can see, to DPS. And that's going to come up quite a bit. If you were playing normal Menagerie, some of the places that you were DPSing from that you're very used to, they're too open, they're not going to work. Crystals, another great example. What does everyone do? In fact, what I recommended for normal Menagerie is that everyone comes down to the middle, put a well down, and DPS. That doesn't work. There's too many ads, there's too much damage coming at you. You'll die even if you're in the well. So you actually want to do your DPS from the top left or the top right so that you can still hit the boss while avoiding the shots of some of the other ads. And some of the other encounters, like the Mockery, which is actually after Crystals this week, and riposta, and those type of things where you normally split up your team, you may want to kind of avoid, because if 2 team members die over on the right side, then you've got to migrate, and then other people die and you're too spread out, you could get that extinguish wipe. So it might actually be worth in those encounters where you can like deposit souls or the orbs into 3 different places, just everyone keep depositing it into one place. Play as a team, constantly have wells going, and yeah, you won't get a perfect score, but if you're just trying to beat it and get the rewards, well, that doesn't matter so much. And moving on to the boss fight for this week's current boss, and some of these tips will apply to future week's bosses as well. So, again, playing cautiously is a better approach. There actually is secret triumphs for beating these heroic bosses when no one dies. So if you play, everyone plays their life, that's how you actually want to approach this to get the triumph too. But again, you're going to need to be more cautious. You're going to need to be very careful from where you DPS. You don't want to do it in an open area. You want to be putting your wells so that you can peek out of cover and shoot rounds at the boss. And if you are being pressured by ads, you can go behind a pillar, a wall, something to hide. You'll actually see in the background gameplay a great place to put your well and to do your DPS from for this week and this boss, which is kind of up. We chose the upper right corner, and this is going to, as you can see, allow you to kind of move left and then right and constantly DPS the boss and constantly be in that well while avoiding the firewalls. It's also really important to not let the ads overwhelm you. Ads that I would frankly ignore in the normal menagerie are definitely problems here. And in this encounter specifically, the 4 hobgoblins that spawn, that again, you can tank their shots all day long in a normal menagerie, you can't now. So as soon as those guys spawn, you're gonna need to take them out. And it is just going to take a lot longer than normal menagerie, so don't blow all your heavy ammo like right away. Maybe save some for some ads that you maybe need to kill immediately and stuff like that. And that's why something like the Outbreak Perfected, because it's constant damage and it's a primary, so you're always going to have ammo, that is a very good choice still. Alright guys, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed, found this informative, found this helpful. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply liking and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you guys want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickKakis. That's linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, have a good day.